Okay, people, this is mainly, because I always branch off too much, but this is mainly child sexual abuse part 2. Part 1 is the main one that you want to see. I'm going to try to remember the little details that I didn't wrap up properly, but I'm sure that I'll screw that up, but I'll do the best I can. Okay, one of the things that I noticed that I did not get to upon reviewing the video was, which is part 1, that I touched upon one of the things that many abusive parents do to their kids, which is to cripple them in some way and make them more vulnerable, both to people on the outside, very dangerous people sometimes, and to themselves, the parents and or the abusers. If your parents are abusing you, or one of your parents is abusing you, or your relatives are abusing you, or whatever, they will frequently go out of their way to confuse you. Remember, abuse, confuse. Because the more confused you are about everything, the less likely you are to report it, the less likely you are to be able to report it properly, and the less likely you are to be genuinely believed, and the less likely you are for people to act like they believe. Even if they do believe, they're more likely to pretend that they don't believe. If you're confused and scatterbrained, I don't know. Don't believe anything that the abuser says to you. Don't believe anything that anybody in with the abuser, friends, relatives, neighbors of the abuser, don't believe anything that they say either. None of it. Now, you don't have to confront them. You don't have to say it, ever. You don't have to say anything at all about it. That is your option, not theirs. It doesn't matter what other people tell you about confronting the abuser and all that shit. And even forgiving the abuser. Oh, yeah, that's going to help you a whole lot. Yeah, you're going to start healing when you forgive the abuser. So if I take a knife and I cut the head of your wiener off, forgive me and you'll feel better. Yeah, get out of here. Kiss my ass. You can have any goddamn thoughts you want. You're in charge of your own thoughts, not somebody else, and don't let them make you think that you are not in charge of your own thoughts. Don't let them make you think that you're crazy. If you know damn well you're not crazy and they are, then you keep that in mind. Maybe someday you'll be able to use it against them, or just get up in their face and tell them, or get to a reasonable distance and tell them, I know you abuse me, you're a motherfucking abuser. I can take you to court at any time. There's no statute of limitations on prosecuting child abuse. Fuck you. That's one of the things you can do. If you want. Remember, it's up to you, and it's also up to you to report it. Yeah, it's a good idea to report it. I didn't check the damn time again. Let me see. Take 5 minutes off. What is that? Red, let's see, 53. Okay, you got to remember. 53. Anyway, I'm just messing with that. Never mind that. That's where at the time I'm recording this, I don't have a real good account with YouTube. Everything is fine, but it's the cheapest one you can get, and I cannot put up videos that are longer than 15 minutes. I can split a video, but I don't know how to do it. It's more trouble. And that is ice water. You may find the odds stacked against you when you report abuse, or even just while you're being abused and you don't say anything about it at all. You've got to be strong, even if you don't feel like it. You want to survive, you can survive. I did. I outlasted them basically until they got older, and I got older, and I learned a little bit more, not much, because they hadn't taught me, and I didn't know how to even learn. I didn't even know how to learn, but I outlasted them, and now I suspect they're scared of me because I can prosecute them and destroy their lives forever. And I'm a son of a bitch to debate. When my back is against the wall, in the street, you win. Your daughter can beat me up. But if you get me in a court of law or a legitimate debate where I'm not doing anything bad, my nose itches, so I'm rubbing it. That's all, scratching it. See, scratch my nose. I can win most debates. I never thought I could do that. Now I do. Don't let your parents or abusers tell you that it's just a little slap. My father and my mother used to slap me a lot, like as in several times a day, screaming, yelling, slap, scream, yell, slap, scream, yell, slap. And I used to get spanked a lot too. And most of it was for no legitimate reason whatsoever. Don't let your abuser tell you that it's okay. If you know it's wrong, it's wrong. And it took me the longest time. Once you've seen this, it won't take you so long. Even if your abuse is not as severe as mine was, which actually wasn't very severe, it was just cuckoo. Even if your abuse was mild, abuse is abuse. And as you listen to people, you get listening on TV and stuff like that, but make your own judgments and deductions about it, because there's a tremendous amount of lies and information going on. I saw stuff that was much more severe than what was done to me on TV, and I thought that's abuse. You know, when they're burning the kids with irons and throwing them into a bathtub of hot water and locking them in the closet for 2 or 3 days at a time and stuff like that. And that is abuse, but it turns out that what was being done to me was abuse, and I didn't even know it. So if somebody that you trust or that you think you can trust, and if I don't get to it, remind me to talk about intuition. It is so important. If your intuition tells you, maybe I can trust this person, I think I can, I think I want to tell this person about the abuse. And they say, were you abused? And you think, well, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. But if you think it's abuse, you can tell them. And when you're abused, you're going to find yourself having to deal with certain things alone from time to time. And I'm telling you, you can do it. You would not believe the motherfucking embarrassing, the incredible, one embarrassing thing over another situations that I was thrust into because of the abuse and because of the people supporting it and all that sort of thing. Over and over again, and having to face people that I've accused over and over again alone. Over and over and over again. You can do it too. Even if you don't do it right, do it anyway. Do the best you can. Stand up for yourself, Stand up for yourself when you can and when you want to. When your intuition tells you go for it, go for it. Because that's what your parents are doing when they make you look bad with everybody. They see a situation that they can jam you into a wedge. You can't do this and you can't do that. They jam you in there and embarrass you, and everybody's looking at you. And they pushed your buttons, or they got somebody that was going to tee off on you and they boxed you in. They're setting you up. When you see a situation where you're in the clear and you can do something without them getting back at you, and you want to do it, then do it. Start learning how to use your intuition. This is one of the most important things that I learned, and I was over the age of 55. It was even after my miserable divorce that I learned 3 simple words. Trust your intuition. That's not necessarily trusting other people or some television program or me even. Wonderful, beautiful me. It's you. You got to learn how to use your intuition, especially when you're abused. Because the abuser, more often than not, is going to go out of their way, like I said, to keep you confused so you don't know what the hell's going on. When I was younger, I could not even hold a conversation. And to this day, I've finally admitted to myself, I still can't really hold a good, long, normal conversation. I can, but I'm a motherfucking mess. I get confused very easily. I get distracted. Even now, even though hearing my mother screaming and yelling at me when somebody was trying to talk to me, I kept, I wasn't thinking that she was doing it. I can't explain this too good. It was not a delusion or an illusion. I don't have that. It was just, I couldn't block the thought of my mother screaming and yelling at me when I would take my jobs, and the supervisor would be saying, do this first, do this. And I could look at them like, yeah, I fully understand. But I couldn't hear a word they were saying. All I could hear is my mother screaming and screaming. You didn't know my mother. And fortunately for you, you're not going to ever have to, because she's dead. And it's also fortunate for me that she's dead, because if she hadn't died many, many years ago, I surely would have eventually killed her. She was a sadistic, demented, psychotic monster. She hated me like poison, and she told me directly several times that she hated me. So there's all different forms of abuse. I can't go into them right now. Maybe I will at another time. But the point is, even if it's mild, even if it's just a slap in the face, if you get slapped in the face and there's no reason for it, that's abuse. Because how would your father or your mother that did it, or whoever did it, like to be slapped in the face themselves by somebody that's bigger than they are and stronger and knows more and knows how to argue more? That's assault and battery. It was really good talking to you, and nobody ever leaves comments, but nobody's stopping you from leaving comments. I'm not good with the nice guy stuff. So let me just say real quick, have a really good day, and don't give up on yourself, because there's assholes everywhere. Don't let them win. You got a life too.